You saw the thumbnail, a $2 bottle, poured in the filler cap, 500,000 miles. You clicked. It is this bottle right here. Little amber liquid sits on the shelf next to 20 other ones just like it, all promising the same miracle. The engine bay is open behind me, and that red arrow points right at your oil filler cap. You are not stupid for wondering if it works. That advertisement is everywhere. The bottle runs $2, $3, sometimes $8. The engine restoration package a shop bolts onto your oil change runs anywhere from $150 to $400, and I have seen it climb higher. Call those estimates. Prices swing by region. Here is what is actually going on. There is no secret Japanese liquid. There is no formula somebody is trying to ban. What actually gets a Toyota or a Honda to high mileage is two fluids you already know about, changed on time, with the right specification in the bottle. That is the whole trick. And the practice I want you watching for is the engine restoration service the counter tries to add on when you go in for a basic oil change. It is a flush, a bottle of additive, sometimes a high mileage treatment, and it gets written onto the estimate like it was a real repair. That is the tactic this video is aimed at, not the folks turning wrenches, the upsell script. The good news is the real answer costs less than what they tried to sell you today. It fits in your driveway, and it will actually get your car to numbers most people do not believe an engine can hit. I am Sal Whitaker, 12 years inside a dealership service department, 30 running my own shop. I have watched this bottle get sold from both sides of the counter. You do not need to be a mechanic for this. You do not need a lift. You do not need a code reader. And you do not need your whole Saturday. What you need is to know which bottle actually goes in that hole and which one is a story. The question was never whether you can afford this engine treatment. The question is whether you even need it and what it actually costs. Once you can hear those two questions as separate things, nobody sells you an engine treatment ever again. Nobody sells you a lot of things ever again. That is the reframe I want you to leave with. There are 4 stages here. First, what that bottle in the thumbnail actually is, and whether anything at all should go in that filler cap besides oil. Second, the first real liquid, the one with the specification code your engine was built for, and what lifetime means and does not mean. Third, the second real liquid, the one nobody on your street has changed in 10 years. Fourth, the counter script that keeps the whole racket alive. The whole real fix, done right, runs you under $100 a year for most cars. 2 of these stages you already have everything you need for. And do not skip the last stage of this video. There is one step almost everybody gets wrong, and it is the entire reason engines that should have gone to 3, 4, 500,000 miles get parked at 180. I will show you what it is. All right, come on over here. Let us start with what is actually in that bottle. The way you tell the difference between a bottle that belongs anywhere near your engine and a bottle that belongs on the shelf is a simple label check you can do right in the parts store aisle tonight. You pick up any additive you are about to buy or that a shop is about to add, and you read the back. You are looking for an API service classification like SN or SP, or an ILSAC grade printed right on the label. If it has one of those service classifications, it meets a real industry standard. If it is just a supplement with a flashy marketing name and no specification code at all, it is not oil. It should not be treated like oil, and it does not belong in your engine. That is the 1-minute check that saves you from the shelf. Nothing on the car yet, just the label in your hand. Now look at the bottle itself. It is an aftermarket engine additive, a small, clear plastic bottle of amber liquid, roughly the size of a can of soda. These products generally claim friction reduction, deposit cleaning, and seal conditioning. The actual liquid inside is usually a carrier oil with detergents, esters, or friction modifiers. Here is the honest part. Some of these do nothing measurable at all. A few do something modest in very narrow situations, and a handful can genuinely harm a modern engine if you use them wrong, especially on newer Japanese engines running very thin oil grades like 0 weight 20 and 0 weight 16, or gasoline direct injection turbo engines where added friction modifiers can worsen low-speed pre-ignition risk. It is not a miracle. It is a chemistry experiment. Let us talk about the money. The bottle itself runs $2 to $8 at most parts counters. Call that an estimated range. But when it shows up on a shop invoice as part of an engine restoration service or premium oil treatment package, that same bottle is buried inside a line item that runs anywhere from $150 to $400, sometimes more. That is an estimate too, and it swings by region and by shop. You are not paying for the $2 bottle, you are paying for the story around it. $2 bottle, $400 line item. Do that math out loud. The bottle is not the fix, and it is not the danger either. The line item is. When a service advisor offers an engine treatment or restoration package on top of your oil change, the exact words to say are, "Show me the manufacturer recommendation for that on my specific engine," in writing. If they can produce an original equipment bulletin or a specification code, look at it. If they cannot, decline it and ask them to write "Customer Declined Additive Service" on the estimate. Here is the honest caveat. Some engines with real diagnosed problems, like a stuck lifter or measurable oil consumption on an older engine, can benefit from a targeted, specific product prescribed and installed by a mechanic who knows what he is treating. That is shop work, not shelf shopping. So the bottle in the thumbnail is not the secret. Nothing you dump in that filler cap is the secret. What matters is what is already supposed to go in that hole, done right, at the right time. That is the first real liquid, and half the country is putting the wrong grade in it right now. Come here, let us talk about that first real liquid, engine oil, and what lifetime really means. How you tell if your engine oil situation is set up for high mileage or set up for a shortened life comes down to 3 checks, all safe. First, find your owner manual and look up the exact viscosity and specification your engine calls for, not what the corner shop chart says, what your manual says. Second, pull the dipstick on a cold engine and look at the color and the level. Third, find the sticker on your windshield or the receipt from your last change and check when it was actually done and with what grade. If any of those 3 do not match, wrong grade, low level, or way past the manual interval, that is where high mileage engines quietly get killed, not by lack of a miracle bottle. Hold up a quart of oil with me. The viscosity grade is right on the front, and the API service badge is on the back, right next to the specific manufacturer approval line. The numbers describe how the oil flows cold and hot. The badge tells you it meets a real industry test. The manufacturer approval tells you it is engineered for engines like yours. On modern Japanese engines running 0-weight 20 or 0-weight 16, using a thicker high-mileage oil because a shop scared you into it is not protection. It is measurably reducing oil flow to the parts the engine was designed to lubricate at the thinner grade. That is where model year specifics matter, and putting the wrong thickness in does real harm over time. An oil change at a dealer or premium quick lube runs, estimated, $60 to $120 for a modern Japanese car, sometimes more with synthetics and specific specification oil. Done in your driveway with a jug of the correct specification oil and a filter, you are looking at, estimate, $30 to $50 for the same job. The premium engine restoration upcharge on top of that basic service is where the padding lives. I had a customer with a Camry who paid $340 for a high-mileage engine restoration on top of a routine oil change. I pulled the invoice apart line by line and showed him the actual thing done for the money was 1 bottle of additive. Right grade, right filter, right interval. That is the trick. The oil and filter, done to specification, is a driveway job for most people. Here is the do-it-once gotcha. Lifetime oil does not exist on any consumer vehicle I have ever seen. Some manufacturers use the phrase long life on other fluids, and it always has an asterisk because severe service intervals cut it in half. The honest caveat is this: if you are past the point where your engine already burns or leaks oil noticeably, changing brands and grades on your own can make it worse, and that is worth a conversation with a real mechanic before you switch. The counterscript for this chapter is simple. When a shop tries to sell you up to a thicker oil than your manual calls for, ask them to show you where the manufacturer allows that grade. In writing. So that is the first liquid. Right specification, right interval, right filter. Done. But there is a second liquid in your engine bay that nobody on your street has thought about in a decade, and it kills more Japanese engines than any additive myth ever will. Come here. Let us look at the second real liquid, coolant, and the 10-year mistake. How you tell if your coolant situation is on track takes 2 safe checks, and you never open a hot cooling system. On a fully cold engine, look at the plastic overflow reservoir on the side of the engine bay. Is the fluid clear pink, clear green, clear blue, or is it brown, rusty, cloudy, or does it have floaties in it? Second check. Pull your service records or the sticker on the radiator support and look for the last coolant service date. If you cannot find one, and the car is over about 7 years old or over roughly 100,000 miles, that is the diagnosis right there. Nobody has touched it, and the clock has been running the whole time. Look at this jar of used, dark coolant next to a jar of fresh coolant. Engine coolant is the liquid that circulates through the block, the heads, the radiator, and the heater core, controlling temperature and protecting the metal surfaces from corrosion. Coolant is not just water plus antifreeze. It carries a package of corrosion inhibitors specifically matched to the metals in your engine: cast iron, aluminum, brass, copper. Japanese manufacturers use specific formulations that last a long time, but a long time is not forever. When the inhibitor package is used up, the coolant looks the same for a while. Then the inside of your engine and heater core starts to corrode from within. That corrosion is silent, gradual, and expensive. A proper coolant service, drain, refill with the correct original equipment specification coolant, bleed the system, runs at a shop, estimated $150 to $300 for most Japanese cars, and swings by region. Done in a driveway with the right coolant, it is, estimate, $30 to $70 in materials. I had a fellow with a 15-year-old Honda, came in for a heater that did not get hot anymore, left with a heater core replacement, quote, north of $1,000 because the internal corrosion had plugged it up. For most modern Japanese cars, a coolant drain and fill on the accessible drain plug is a driveway job for a careful do-it-yourselfer. But any coolant work that requires opening the pressurized system hot or bleeding a complex modern engine with air pockets in specific spots is shop work. Know which one you have. The do-it-once gotcha here is to use the coolant your manufacturer specifies by name. Do not mix a universal coolant into a system that calls for a specific long-life formula, because the inhibitor packages can be chemically incompatible and gel up. The honest caveat is that modern cooling systems with electric water pumps, complex bleed procedures, or hybrid drivetrains are genuinely more delicate than an old Corolla. When in doubt, that is shop work. The counterscript is to ask which original equipment specification coolant they are using by product name and ask to see the bottle. That one question weeds out the operations that were going to pour universal green stuff into your Japanese engine. So that is your 2 liquids. Oil, done right. Coolant, done on schedule. That is the whole Japanese secret the thumbnail was pointing at. But all of it still will not stick until you get the one step right. We are almost there. Come here for the last stage. Let us look at the counterscript that keeps it going. How you tell you are about to be sold an engine restoration or premium fluid service you do not need is by watching the tells in real time at the service counter. The advisor uses the phrase, "while we are in there." The estimate includes a line item without a specific part number. The price for the package is disproportionate to the labor time it took. Or the recommendation appears without any measurable diagnostic finding, no leak identified, no consumption test done, no code pulled. If any of those show up, you are being sold a story. This is the exact moment on the estimate to slow down and ask questions. The named part in this chapter is the estimate itself. I am holding up a redacted mock invoice right here at the counter. 3 line items. The legitimate oil and filter service with specific part numbers and specific labor time. The legitimate coolant service with a specific coolant name and specific labor time. And the padded engine restoration package with no part numbers, vague labor time, and a big number. Legitimate service lines cite a part and a book time. Padded lines cite a marketing name and a bundled price. That is how you read one at the counter without knowing a single thing about cars. No new dollar figures here because this chapter cost payload is the spread between what you actually needed and what the counter tried to sell. Think about that $40 oil habit, that $50 coolant service, and that $300 upcharge. Same car, same day, $300 difference, same result. Knowing the counter script is the fix. This is the free stage the roadmap promised. The counter script itself is 3 sentences you can read right off your phone. Please only perform what the manufacturer maintenance schedule specifies for today mileage. Please write any additional recommendations on a separate line so I can review them. Please provide the original equipment specification for any fluid or additive being added. The honest caveat is that some shops recommend legitimate services that are due, like a real timing belt at a real interval, or a real brake fluid flush your manual actually calls for. This script does not make everything fake. It makes the fakery visible. So there are your 4 stages. What the bottle actually is, the first liquid done right, the second liquid done on schedule, and the counter script. But we still have not gotten to the one thing almost everybody gets wrong. The one step that decides whether all of this actually gets your engine to those numbers or not. Come here. This is the whole point. All right. Here is the one everybody gets wrong, and it is the reason engines that should have hit 500,000 miles get parked at 180. It is not a bottle. It is not a brand of oil. It is not a coolant flush. It is your driving pattern, specifically whether your engine ever actually gets fully warm before you shut it off again. Short trips, the 5-minute run to the store, the 10-minute school drop-off, the 8-minute commute, are quietly the single most expensive habit for a modern engine. And nobody at any counter is going to tell you that, because there is no invoice line for drive better. Here is what actually happens on a short trip and why the 2 real liquids stop protecting your engine. Cold engine oil is thicker than warm oil, and it takes real minutes of running for the oil to reach full operating temperature. Combustion also produces water vapor and unburned fuel that condense inside a cold engine and get carried into the oil. On a fully warmed engine, those contaminants boil back off and vent out. On a cold engine that never gets warm, they stay in the oil, dilute it, break down the additive package, and accelerate wear on the exact parts the oil is supposed to protect. Coolant works the same way in reverse. It never reaches its operating temperature range where the inhibitor chemistry does its best work. So the fix is behavioral, and it is free. Once or twice a week, take one longer drive, 20-30 minutes on the highway, engine fully up to temp, at cruising revolutions per minute. That single habit does more than any bottle ever poured into a filler cap. Here is what that habit is worth in money. A repeat oil consumption problem caused by fuel-diluted oil on a chronically short-tripped engine, once it shows up, is not a bottle of additive fix. It is a diagnostic, a compression test, sometimes a ring job or a top-end teardown. Shop quotes on that kind of work start in the estimated $1,000 to $3,000 range for older engines and climb from there on modern ones. I had a truck owner who chased the symptom with miracle bottles for 2 years, while the real problem was his 8-minute daily commute. By the time he got to my counter, the cheap fixes were gone. 20 extra minutes of highway driving a week cost you the price of a gallon of gas. That is the dollar contrast. A gallon of gas against a 4-figure teardown. So here is what you do this Saturday. Pick 1 day a week. Take 1 longer drive. 20-30 minutes, highway speed, engine fully warm before you shut it off. That is the whole master secret. It is not a bottle.